Good morning, good morning, good morning! Hi, everyone! Oh, today's gonna be a fun interview. Oh, I promise you that. Tommy Hobson, you're gonna love him. So I'm an 80s and 90s kid, and all my favorite shows growing up, Tommy has somehow been on each one of those shows. And I cannot wait to talk to him about that. I also can't wait to talk to him about just his love for his family, and there's just so much. So it's so exciting. Hi, Austin! Austin, when are you coming to visit me? Come visit me, Austin. Come. But you're gonna love him. And he just energy, just beautiful energy. Oh, he's on! Tommy's on! We're gonna talk to him! In the heart of every family, does anyone know what that theme song is? Tommy, do you know what that theme song is? We'll find out when you join. We'll see. Austin, come tomorrow. I'm here. I've got plenty of room. Come visit me. I would love to see you. Tommy, you've gotta click that that thing that says go live with Mark Currian. Soulmate Searcher. Oh my gosh, Austin, I would love for you to be here. So come, please come. I would love to have you here. Tommy, here we go. Tommy. And how dare you JK me, Austin? I got so excited.
Hello.
I feel like I'm talking to the biggest celebrity ever.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's so funny, Tommy. Yesterday, I'm watching Step by Step, and there you were. And I geeked out. I was like, oh my God.
That was a really fun, really fun set. That was a fun time.
I heard that everyone on that set was just amazing.
They were all really great. And by the time I got there, I think it was towards the end. So they were a family. Like I was, instead of going to school, because you do school on sets, we
Yeah.
would do a little bit of school, but then PE would become a thing. We would just play tennis for hours. And yeah, I had a really, also I loved the show. So it's always nice when you get to be on shows that you love.
Step by step, day by day. Here's the thing that kills me is that I couldn't tell you who the 24th president of the United States is, but I could tell you every theme song from every show I used to love.
Yeah, also what happened to the theme song?
Right?
Yeah,
they were amazing.
A good 80s, 90s theme song. They're so good, and now they just don't exist anymore.
It's so funny because so you were also on the Hogan Family.
Yes.
You were also on 227.
Yes.
You were on A Different World. Literally, you've done all of the shows that I was so excited about as a kid. If I could have met Jackie Harry.
Oh yeah, right.
I've heard she is.
She's wonderful. She's
who
wonderful.
doesn't love a little Jackie?
Jackie is great, and I've actually seen her as an adult, which is even more exciting because she's just. I remember the last time I saw her, we were at a Christmas party, a mutual friend's Christmas party, and she was standing between me and my partner, and she looked back and forth between us, and she was like, "Well, aren't you both handsome boys?" And we were like, "Thank you," and she was like, "Oh shit, are y'all together?" And we said, "Yeah." She said, "Every time, every single time," and stormed off. And I was like,
Did she? She didn't recognize you from the show?
Oh no,
no. You
that's
were 4 when you did that show.
Yeah, that's I ran into Regina King at an event last year, and I was like, "You wouldn't remember this. There's no reason for you to." My very first TV credit was 227. So this is just kind of an honor for me to meet you, see you again, and tell you I'm a huge fan of you and admire what you do so much. And she's like, "Well, that's lovely." I was like, "Yeah, no, I do not expect you to know who I am. It's okay."
See, where I would be like, "How dare you not remember me? How dare you?" I got to tell you, no, it's funny because, literally, you were on the set and on the show of my Hogan Family first of all, that show ruined my life when she passed away.
Yeah.
I mean, like, devastated. And then Sandy Duncan came on as, like, and I was like, I love you, Sandy, but you're no Valerie. Like,
No.
I mean, it was just that show. Like, I mean, I think it's Jason Bateman's first show,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Like,
And what a great guy. I saw someone found recently, someone found on YouTube like the episode, and it was fun just to like, because a lot of it, I started acting when I was 6, so a lot of the memories are just pictures or like things my mom told me, from set, and then you see the thing, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember Jason Bateman in a Santa Claus costume, me being like a pissy kid who was just a brat about asking Santa for what he wanted, and Jason Bateman sort of like the final bit is that he gets so annoyed with me that he like splits open his lap and I drop to the ground and he's like, get this little a-hole kid out of here, and I was like, oh, I remember that now. Oh, I remember that whole week. Oh, that was so much fun. I didn't realize that was Jason Bateman. Like all these random sort of memories that come back.
yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna. I can't believe I'm going to admit this because it shows a side of me that I probably shouldn't. But I mean, I think I was like 7 or 8 when the Hogan Family was on, and I was in love with the dad. I was like, Mama, something's happening to my kibbles and bits. I don't know what's happening. I was in love with the dad. I was like,
That's okay. You
it's
can
the
own
first
that.
time. It was the first time I remember going like,
Huh?
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 What's happening here?
Huh?
What's happening?
Huh? What's that? What's going on down there?
I mean, I had daddy issues, I guess, back then. I don't know, but it was. I got it. So, which one of those shows was your favorite?
Oh,
Sounds like Step by Step. You had a pretty good experience.
Step by Step was pretty awesome.
You're old enough to remember, like,
Yeah, I
doing
have
that.
like solid memories of Step by Step. Um, A Different World was also really wonderful because even though I was young, I really loved the show.
Yeah,
So, again, always great to be on a show that you're a fan
that
of
was a
and like sort of
transformative show.
it was, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and it's funny because I kind of want to rewatch it now. There's nothing else to do. We're all stuck at home. I kind of want to rewatch it now because I'm like, I remember watching the show. I remember all the plot points, but I'd like to do it again as an adult.
what was the guy's name that wore always the fun glasses?
Oh, Dwayne Wayne.
But what was his character? Was his character's name? What
Yeah,
was
yeah. His real name is Kadeem Hardison.
that? Okay, I was like,
Yeah,
that's the name I was thinking.
yeah. And then I
Um,
just think about Whitley Dwayne, just that thick accent. Oh, I was in love with her. It was. I walked around set. I think I did 3 episodes of that show, and I walked around set every time, just like
Now that was a
Jasmine Guy.
spin-off of the Cosby Show, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah. It was made for Lisa Bonet, so she could continue in the Cosby family, but she didn't want to be on the Cosby Show anymore, and I think she stayed for 2 seasons, and then Jasmine Guy kind of took over from there.
It's so funny because you say these names and it's like my brain just goes straight back to like those times. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, I remember watching A Different World and thinking, I want to go to college there. I want to be friends with every single one of those people. I want to fall in love with, like, that show specifically was very transformative to me. Like, I remember just very well thinking, these people are so cool. Like, I want to go to college now because this is what college is going to be like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then somehow when I was younger, I remember being obsessed with the idea of going to like a historically black college, and then somehow didn't even apply to one. I like, and then a couple of years ago, I went to Morehouse's homecoming, and it was just this magical experience. And I was like,
I've heard
I'm
that everything they do is exactly like you just said, magical. I
it's
heard that
magical.
that place is, and I need to go experience it. I want to go because I've just heard that the people, the energy,
The energy
like,
was great, and I stood like, I'm standing there with as I said, my partner went to Morehouse and a lot of his friends did, and so we're all standing there, and there's husbands and wives and kids and everyone's hanging out, and then there's just this like beautiful sea of Black people just having the best time, and I was like, I loved college. College was a really fun time for me. I didn't have this experience, and now I'm kind of sad. I wish I could have both,
Well, you can
like.
be a part of that experience. I mean, to be honest, like, I do you remember watching the final episode of Oprah, and she had all of the people from Morehouse walking down, and
Yes,
she's bawling. I'm
I
bawling.
was bawling
Oh, lost my like I
completely.
lost. I mean, it was just so beautiful, and just to see like how she had. So you can be that. You can. I mean, that's what I love about that college is that they welcome people into that experience, no matter where you're at, to be a
Hmm.
part of something that like every year they do something that is just more special, just more uh, more special, just transform it really is. I love the way that they kind of envelop people and just say be a part of this community with us.
It's really, really, really great. And I bought the only thing I was sad about when I was there, and I've threatened that the next time we go to homecoming, I'm gonna make my own. They had Morehouse wife shirts, but they didn't have Morehouse husband shirts. So I was like, why don't you have any Morehouse husband shirts? Like, come
Yeah,
on, so one of our friends likes to make t-shirts. So I told her next time we all go, I need her to make me a Morehouse husband shirt so I can walk around and be like, yeah, I didn't go here, but
but my partner did.
my partner did.
um I gotta tell you, so we met through Trevor Kuhn. So
Yes, we
Trevor was
did.
like, you've got to like, this man is a beautiful man. He's, inside and out, like you're, and I, we've chatted a little bit, and we like, and I have to tell you, like, I am already in love with you. Like, I just
Oh,
love your spirit. Like, you're, like, I just, and I might cry during our interview because I see the other day, not maybe the other day, but you posted with your grandparents, your grandmothers.
yes.
And I just lost my last grandmother.
I'm
And
sorry.
I was reading, and I'm like, I love how much you love your family. Like, and your parents. And like, you just posted a picture, cutest picture ever, of your father and you, like, for like his birthday.
Yeah.
And
It
I
makes me
got to
cry.
tell you, like, we're gonna have to really talk about that because I I just love your relationship with your family. I love it. I think it is, and I asked you because I asked kind of everyone this, like, what do you want to talk about? And that was the first thing you said, like, my parents, my family, my like, and I love that. Like, I love that relationship, and I think it's probably one of the things that makes you the beautiful person that you are, is this relationship with your family.
I well, thank you. You're gonna make me cry. I tell people all the time that I sort of hit the jackpot, and on all levels, and and it's just a blessing, and I'm very aware of it. And even like with my grandmothers posting about them, like I always tell people, if you need to know what my family is, look no further than the fact that my paternal and maternal grandmothers are best friends. That
Hmm.
like that tells you
Yeah.
what you need to know about where I come from. And I mean, like even like with the pandemic, it was I was telling a friend last night, it was amazing. Like I full on like anxiety freak out about the world and how I don't know what's happening. And I just packed up my stuff. I grabbed my sister, who also lives in my house, and I was like, we're going home. And we went to my parents' house and we stayed for 2.5 months. And I had a lot of friends who were like, oh, I would die. Oh, we would. And I was like, this has been the most, as much as you can be in a pandemic, the most relaxing and sort of regenerative 2.5 months of my life. That like
Where is your family, by the way?
they live in a city called Upland, which is
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, an hour east of LA. And I mean, it's just I go into their home and like I immediately get sleepy, which at first I thought was weird, but I realized it's like the ultimate sign of comfort.
Mm-hmm.
That when I walk through my parents' doorway, like my shoulders relax and my problems go away, and they're just really great. And I think that like I tell people that especially when you're a queer kid, that there's so much fear, and some for some people justifiably so, so much fear that goes into that family dynamic because you don't
Yeah.
know if you're going to lose any of it. And I was so afraid of that when I was younger, and it took me a longer time to get to where I needed to get to because I was so scared that if I'm wrong about who my parents are, I could lose this.
Yeah.
And luckily I was not wrong, and everyone just kind of got, closer. But like, even like with my dad, I was telling someone, like, I remember being a teenager and I'm the second, and being so afraid that like my dad would be upset that his namesake was nothing like him,
Mm.
and then growing up and realizing that like no one was happier that I was nothing like him, more nothing like him than my father. Like my father was like, oh no, like being named after me was not some like, lifelong like, death sentence where you have to be everything that I am. Like, I love that you're an individual. I love that, you've charted your own course, and I mean, and really was, and I give him a lot of credit because I think that, uh, we need more of this in the world. Like my father was, both my parents were very chill about my sexuality, but my father was very much so like, okay,
Fine.
and yeah, and again, I said I feel like I had a screen test last week where I was talking to the lead actor and the director, and I ended up talking about my parents for like 45 minutes, and I was like, I'm so sorry. It's
But see, I
like,
love that. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, listen, my family's everything to me. So it's like, I get it. Like, I fully get it. It's something that definitely speaks to the beauty of who you are. Like,
okay,
and I love that. By the way,
thank
someone loves and misses you.
Oh, that's Danelle. Hi, Danelle. I need to call him back. He called me a couple days ago.
Freaking jerk. Call him back.
I know we ended up texting a lot. So
I don't care.
I'll
Danelle,
call you
he's gonna
later,
call you
buddy.
back.
I'll
I
call you
promise
later.
you. If he
That's one,
doesn't,
that's one of my
I have some scoop on him that I
that's
can talk
yeah,
about.
that's one of my besties, and also like, Olympic medal winning gymnast, like world champion gymnast. He's
Oh,
a badass.
we should have
So
him on the show.
you should have him on the
I
show.
love talking to gymnasts.
I'll
Actually, I
I'll,
think
I'll
connections.
set that up. He's got a really fun story. And yeah, see, there you go. See, I'm big up on you. You showed up at the right time. And also back to Trevor. Trevor's a magical human being. I don't know. Did he tell you how we met?
Kind of, sort of. I'll let
Yeah,
you tell the story.
yeah. We did an episode of Criminal Minds years ago, and we were partners who were walking our dog, and like somehow I helped them solve a murder. You know how that show goes.
Yeah.
Um, and we spent it was there was another actress there, but to be honest with you, I don't know who it was because it was Trevor, Shamar Moore, and me. And I was the happiest boy in the world because I was like, I'm acting opposite Shamar Moore, and this is awesome. And then I didn't see Trevor for probably a year, and I walked into V Bar, this old wine bar that was in West Hollywood, and he was there, and I was like, "You look familiar." He was like, "I
Are
was your
you Ricky
boyfriend."
Martin? No, you're
Yeah.
not.
Hi, Megan. Yeah, so I ended up we became buddies, and now he's one of like my favorite people.
He really is a special human being, and um, he's someone. He's not on here, by the way. So f him and everything he stands for. But he is a special human being. He really heart of gold. I love spending time with him. I love like he kind of breaks down all my walls, and I love it. And
Yeah.
I like can sit with him on the couch and just chat. Best hugger ever. I don't know.
Oh, great hugs. Great
Great,
hugs.
great
Yeah,
hugger.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So let me ask you this. So like you are, I mean, I think that there's another Hobson on. Is that
Oh, is that my sister? Yeah, it's my sister.
hi
Hey,
sis?
sister. You
Um,
just upstairs watching?
yeah, she should come down and say hello. Um, you're a performer. You've done Broadway, right?
I have not. That's the one thing that I have
Oh,
yet to do. But I have done a lot of theater. I've
when I say Broadway, I mean theater.
oh yes, 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 yes.
I don't mean like
Yes. Well,
Broadway, but
yes.
Broadway. You know, like
Yes, I've done Broadway, but I haven't done Broadway.
you've done jazz hands. I
Yeah, I've
mean,
done.
jazz
I,
hands have come out of your life at some point.
yes, yes, yes. As
I
my
love
friends would say, I'm an LA Tony Award winning actor.
it. So you're in LA,
Yes.
and you're an actor. You're a performer. You're a man that loves his family. And these are all things that we know. You put that out there. What's something we don't know? What's something that people are like, oh crap, Tommy, like, are you like, do you crochet? Do you knit? Do you like, is there something that would just shock us?
um, that's probably not shocking. I was gonna say I love reading, but I think that's pretty on brand.
Come on, I'm like, Tommy, really?
Uh,
Are you a hand model? Are you a beard model? Are you
uh, I
By the way, I'm sending you some beard oil and balm that I'm obsessed with.
oh, please do.
Yeah, it's called Undercover Man. You're going to be obsessed with it. You're going to love it.
I love it because I'm new to the beard family, so I'm still learning like
Most
what
of
to
us are.
yeah, and I'm like I was telling my barber, I was like, without you to shape it for me, I got shaky hands. Let's see, okay. First of all, hi Phil, and I love you, and you're fantastic. I love video games,
Okay.
which people find shocking, and I love video games to the point where I actually a couple of years ago like realized that they were stopping me from being a fully functional human being. So I gave all of my game systems to my cousins just to get them out of here so that I could like and that you know what? That's actually better, sister. That's better. She said he's surprisingly skilled at putting together IKEA furniture, and that is true. I am
Well,
very good at putting IKEA furniture together, which shocked not only me, but my father, who told me that if I can put together an IKEA dresser, then I don't need him to put together anything for me anymore.
Mark
Which was
Burnian
kind of sad. Mm-hmm.
tried to put together an IKEA shelf for the
Uh-oh.
garage. 9 days later, I was still trying to because in my mind, I had an idea of what the shelf looked like. And 9 days later, I had to go to TaskRabbit, hire someone who put it together within like 12 minutes. And I realized at this moment, Mark Burnian will never put together IKEA anything because
Yeah.
just can't do it.
Yeah. I did a what, a 6 or 7 dresser sort of vertical and then also a horizontal one. There was wine involved.
Well, Lottie,
Um,
da, look at you being all like,
yeah, and you know what? You know what? They're still standing, which is my proudest achievement. I kept waiting for them to just collapse. And
I would put on like a feather on the shelf and it'd be like, like it's just not pretty.
yeah, that's my secret skill, the thing that surprises people. And then, like I said, my dad, after I did the first IKEA dresser, uh, came over, looked at it, shook it, saw that it didn't wobble, and he was like, "You've been playing me for years. You've been pretending like you don't know how to do this stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I
It's the
can
best
still
way to do it.
I
I
can
mean,
still
listen,
pretend I don't know how to do it if you want to."
if you want that role, Dad, I'll give it to you.
Gladly, gladly, I'll give you that role. I don't want to build this.
It reminds me talking about like grandparents, parents, all that. Like it just reminds me of the story. My grandmother was sitting. They lived on the bayfront,
Hmm.
and my grandfather was getting like this is great grandfather, but it's easier to say.
Yeah.
So he's serving her, getting her water, getting her a sandwich, getting her all this, whatever. And then they're sitting there, and all of a sudden, this huge yacht comes before their house, and you could see like all the people that are serving, people. And my grandmother goes, "Wouldn't that just be so nice to have someone that just like serves you?" And he looks at her and he goes, "Damn it, Midge! What the fuck do you think I'm doing?" It's like, yes.
Yes.
So the whole time your dad was like, "Damn it, Tommy! What the hell do you think you could be doing here?"
I was like, yeah, I was thinking about all the college moves, all the moves after college where like I'd buy furniture and I'd be like, Dad, I don't know I don't know.
Dad, come on.
And now he's like, let your brother do it. And I'm like, dang it.
Are your parents still married?
Yes, yes. My parents they just celebrated their anniversary on Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been married for 38 years. They've been together for like 44 years or something like that. Like my
That's
parents
unheard
met,
of.
yeah, my parents met in high school, got
Oh,
got married like right out of college, and are the happiest married couple.
oh, I love
Uh,
that.
yeah, and they like each other. I told them, I said, it's really interesting to watch like people try to figure out what love is and how relationships work. And as a person who's in one myself, I often say to people like, love, loving someone is oftentimes easier than liking someone. And my parents love each other, but they like the crap out of each other. Like they're like, "Hey, I'm going to the bank. I'll be back in 20 minutes. Hey, do you want to ride? Do you want to ride with me? Sure." And I'm like, "It's just the bank." But they genuinely
Stay home.
enjoy, yeah, they genuinely enjoy each other's company. I told them they set a very high bar. Like, I thought this is so corny, but it's true. The year I turned 16, I woke up that morning and I had two goals. The first immediate goal was to get my license, which I did at like 7 a.m. that morning. I was like, great, got my license. And then I was like, cool. My parents met when my mom was 16, my dad was 17. This is the year I meet the love of my life. And I woke up early every morning of my 16th year of life, popped in my contact lenses, picked out my outfit, and was like, today's the day you meet the person you're going to be in love with for the rest of your life. And it did not happen. Um, but I had this just, which is a wonderful thing to have. But I definitely had this idea because it happened to my parents that I was supposed to, at 16 years old, like meet the love of my life, and then
You were Tommy
16
Jr., which meant Tommy
yeah,
Sr. should
exactly.
absolutely live right through you.
Yeah, and then 16 became 17, became 18, became 19, became 20, and I was like, well, this is just not working out. Interesting. Okay. You know, but it's all settled now, which is lovely. But I told my parents, I said, no, this even with your best efforts, you can sometimes make your like the three of us. I'm the oldest of three, and the three of us were all slower out of the gate romantically than my parents because we were just like, no, we have a very high bar.
Yeah.
We have a certain expectation for what this is supposed to look like, and I'm not going to settle for anything less than that. So, you know, I'll just be over here having a cocktail while everyone's having a good time.
I love that. One of the things that I know that we said we wanted to talk about, which I think is really important, especially during a time like now, and um, is mental wellness and mental health. And I know you have a passion for that and a passion of speaking about that. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's interesting. It's a newer passion for me because I didn't realize that I had the anxieties that I have.
Okay.
Or at least that they were a problem. I just kind of felt like, oh yeah, sometimes like I get overwhelmed by life. I take a little short break. I'll watch a movie. I'll hang out with a good group of friends or something, and then I'm fine. And as I got older, I sort of realized that like that became harder and harder, and the breaks became longer and longer.
Mm.
The amount of time required to like come out of it. And so a year and a half ago, I was sitting in a restaurant for a friend's birthday back in the olden times, when you could, sit in a restaurant
When
with a
you would
bunch of
blow
people.
out your candles.
Yeah, when you blow out your candles. And now we're like, why were we doing that? That
Yeah.
was
Now
always
you
weird.
just do this because you can't.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. And one of my buddies asked me how I was doing. And I don't know what happened. I just hesitated before I answered. And in the hesitation, I was like, oh crap, I've told him everything without saying anything. And then we started talking. And then the birthday girl came over and we started talking. And it was like, okay, actually, we're glad this moment's happening. We've been worried about you for a minute because you're a person who likes to take on everyone's stuff and help everyone through their stuff. And you don't unload or share your burdens with anyone. And there is concern among some of us that like that's an untenable situation for you. And so I went to therapy, and it was a secret at first, and then I realized that like there's nothing actually wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with therapy. There's nothing embarrassing about therapy. And now I talk to everyone about it. And I think especially with like the pandemic, I mean, I full on like was crying on a street corner 3 days before they shut everything down, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like this is something that is in my lifetime at least unprecedented. I don't have the tools for this. I've only ever seen this in disaster movies, and I don't know what it looks like in real life. Um, and and also I started teaching. I go to this spin studio called Sweat Cycle, and a year ago they were like, "Do you want to be a teacher?" And I was like, "I'm a busy man," and they were like, "We can work around it." And I was like, "Okay, fine." And it's ended up being this wonderful, wonderful thing because now I have a platform to talk about it, and it's been interesting to see how many people respond to that because we're so conditioned not to talk about those kinds of things,
Yeah.
to put those things to the side and not let people know that we're struggling. And I just had a really wonderful weekend with a couple of my best friends. We all got tested and then got a house in the desert and hung out for a weekend. And we're floating around the pool, excited to see each other. And one of them said to me, do you know why we're doing this? I was like, well, yeah, we haven't seen each other in 6 months. And they said, no, honestly, we're doing this because we were so worried about you at the top of this pandemic. And we really appreciated how honest you were about what you were feeling. And that, like, the feeling I was having, the overwhelming sense of dread that I had, the anxiety was so intense that I wasn't eating and I wasn't sleeping. And I packed my stuff and I went to my parents' house, and then I didn't leave my parents' house. And my parents had to, like, very lovingly and slowly sort of pull me back out of that because I was content to sit in my bathrobe, side saddle on the couch and go through Netflix. Uh, and then you add on to that what's happening now with you know with race relations in this country, and we're kind of at a I think a very necessary moment
Hmm.
of sort of a reckoning of for America and her long history of um, you know her long racist history, and you add that onto that pile, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like what do you what do you do? What can we do? I feel helpless. One of the things that I can do is talk about it and create a space where people can know that, like, I'm going to be honest with you about my feelings, and you can be honest with me about yours.
Hmm.
Everyone's going through something right now, um, and and I want to be as honest as I can about what I'm going through. That, like, there are days that are fantastic, and then there are days when the world just seems really overwhelming and really, really scary. And I try to live now. The anxieties come when my brain starts to jump a day or a week or a month or a
Yeah.
year into the future and think like, what do we do? Where do we go? What's what, yeah. So I do think that, like, right now, like, I used to see in the beginning of the pandemic a lot of memes where people were like, you gotta, you should be, what's your hustle right now? You should be writing, you should be creating, you should be doing all of these things. And I was like, yeah, if that's how you process.
Yeah.
If it's not how you process, then you need to do whatever that is. And if that means that you take a couple of days and you do nothing, then you do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because a lot of the
100%.
people who were using their anxieties to create, God bless them. I know some people who've done great things during this. I also know people who were trying to force their creativity as a
That
distraction
never
from.
works. That
It doesn't work.
never works.
It doesn't work. So the first 2 months of pandemic, I was just at my parents' house taking long walks in the suburbs and bike riding and, sort of focusing on my mental and physical space. And then, like, when May and June came, I was like, okay, I'm ready to be creative,
Yeah.
and I'm ready to step out of this bubble. And luckily I got to go and do a movie for 2 months on location, which was lovely distraction, and then when I came home from that a month ago, I was like, oh, okay, I'm ready for this now. Like, I'm mentally prepared to handle what this world is offering.
I
right
love
now.
that you're giving yourself that space and that freedom. I love that you're talking about it because I think people need to talk about it. People need to talk about the fact that, like, yeah, today I'm not good. Today was not a good day, or today was an amazing day. And if you didn't have an amazing day, I'm sorry, but I had an amazing day. If you had a shitty day and I had a shitty day, then let's reminisce and figure out how to get out of this. But like, communicating and talking through it, I think it is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I
And
love
it's
that
a
you're doing
skill
that.
it's a skill I'm just learning. And I'm like, there are certain things you can't save people from. Uh, but if there's some things you can, and this feels like something that, like, if I can pay this forward to someone so they don't have to wait almost 30, well, I guess I was 37 at that time, almost 37 years into their life before they start to think, oh, there's actually nothing, it doesn't say anything negative about me to take care of my mental health.
No,
There doesn't have
just
to
the
be
opposite.
anything, it's
Just the opposite.
just the opposite, and I think right now, especially, you just have to, and this was the test for me because I had only recently learned that I have trouble letting people help me. I think it's the big brother thing. I always tell people I'm a big brother, so my wiring is nurture.
To protect and to nurture
Yeah,
and to, yep.
and so I will immediately push aside any of my stuff, and I just couldn't do it. And I was like, wow, okay, well, this is a first for me. I can't. This is such a big moment that I can't distract myself from it. Like, there's nothing I can do because I was trying those first couple of days when things were starting to go downhill, and I was like, let me find some people to take care of. Come over, you can stay, and there's room in the house. You can stay here. We'll watch Disney movies, and we'll we'll make dinner and drink cocktails. And like 2 days into that, I was like, I'm really sorry. You can stay in my house. I have to go to my mom and dad's.
Stay here. I'm out.
I'm
Peace.
out. Goodbye. Goodbye. I gotta go.
Well, I love
Um,
that. I mean, listen, so I end these interviews with telling the person why I love them and why they're in my life and why I'm celebrating them. And
oh,
obviously, we have not met face to face, but I already have things that I love about you and I want to share those with you. So
oh
sit
my
back and
gosh.
absorb
Okay.
this and just get ready.
Okay.
Listen, when someone like Trevor tells me you have to interview this person, you have to get to know this person, it's a no brainer for me. And from the moment you and I met, from the moment that we got starting to talk, I just saw such a beautiful spirit about you. It's a spirit of gentleness. It's a spirit of humility. And I think one of the things that I've really appreciated about you is, and it's apparent in this, is just your willingness to talk about everything and anything, your willingness to be a real authentic person, and the joy that comes from that. I think that someone that loves their family as much as you love your family, whether they are the best family or the worst family, the fact that you're willing to kind of let other people into that, I think is such a beautiful thing. I think that you, like, even just in this conversation, I could go on for hours with you. Like, you really are a beautiful soul. That soul comes out very, very quickly, which means that you are very, very much someone that is worthy of being celebrated. I think that we need to celebrate more and more people like you, people that are okay talking about the crap and okay talking about the great things, willing to laugh and willing to cry in the same conversation. And I'm just so grateful for Trevor for introducing us. And I'm grateful that I get to now officially call you my friend and someone that I know I'm going to learn a lot from throughout our friendship, and someone that I know will be able to usher me into a better person than I am today. And so I'm just really grateful for you, and I'm grateful for this conversation. And I think you're beautiful from the inside out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot.
I meant every word. And listen,
Yeah.
anyone who's been in the same room as Suzanne Summers and Jack A and Sandy Duncan, like, got to tell you, you're pretty much the biggest celebrity in my eyes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and we'll talk more step by step stories because Suzanne Summers is great.
Step by step, day by day,
Day by day.
fresh. I mean, I got to tell you, the one thing that drives me nuts about Step by Step, and we'll finish with this, is when they, during the, like, you know they like have the roller coaster and then like an ocean going up to the roller coaster. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we get that that was a parking lot because it's Magic Mountain. We all know it's Magic Mountain. But come on, really?
Yeah.
Like the
And
ocean?
the ocean would bounce because of its old 90s graphics, so the ocean would sort of bounce around. It's like,
It was
come on,
the
guys.
worst. They should have just left it a parking lot. Let's be honest. Right.
Someone spent a whole bunch of money turning a parking lot into an ocean.
Well, and someone said there was many meetings where they said this really should be an ocean.
This
That's
should
a
be an
great
ocean.
idea.
Hmm.
Let's make that happen.
You know what this picture's missing? An ocean.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Tommy, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm
This
already
was really
falling in
fun.
love with you. I see everything that Trevor says about you, and I just am so grateful that you did this today.
Thank you for having me, man. This is really, really fun. And yeah, I'm so excited to be friends. It's awesome. I'm really excited about it.
Come to Dallas.
Oh my God, I love Dallas, and I'm overdue for a trip there. So when life
Order my
settles
button,
down,
call me a biscuit. I've got a spare room and everything.
yes. Oh, listen, when the world is normal, I will be there.
Well, listen, I'll be happier than a tornado in a trailer park.
What? I've never heard that one before.
Oh, come on. Happier than a tornado in a trailer park?
I'm from LA. We don't have tornadoes.
I
At
know.
least we're not supposed to.
No, which
I don't know. I don't know what level of Jumanji we're going to next, so that might be in it.
I look out my
So,
window every day for like the locusts. I'm like, is it
yeah,
there? Okay.
yeah, it's getting real biblical.
Yeah. Okay, Tommy, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for doing this.
Bye.
Bye, buddy.